Welcome to the Battle Pod, the only podcast themed around Christmas. Red and green, ho ho ho. The podcast that's always been themed around Christmas. We haven't had an episode since Christmas of 2021. Do you remember the Christmas of 2021, Dion?
I remember it like yesterday. Remind me what happened.
Well, we didn't have a podcast back then.
No, that sounds about right. Welcome everybody back to the Battle Pod. Got your boys Dion, Lunsford, and Connor here. We do have our recurring guest, despite the ban from the previous couple of podcasts. We got Deja. Baby Deja's here, so you may or may not hear her around. You want to say something? You want to say something? She's good. But yeah, so we're back for first time in I think a few months. Been a bit busy. Been trying to figure out how to get connected, but we're finally here. Connor, how have you been?
Oh, I've been holly and jolly, Dion. I've been having such a holly jolly Christmas. Did you know that this is the best time of the year? I like to say hello to friends I know and have a cup of cheer. This is the bit that I'm doing this whole episode.
Oh boy, I'm curious to see how you find ways to intertwine this. But yeah, we are recording this on December 27th, just a couple days after Christmas. My holiday was pretty good. It was my first one as a dad, so got to experience all those fun things. Did some stuff with my family. I did have to work most of the holiday block, but I did get to get my Christmas in, so it was pretty good. But good to be back. I'm glad to be back on the podcast, though. I really like doing this stuff. So, what do we have for today on today's slate? What do we got to cover?
Well, we've got two events. I think one of which we covered most of, but not all of. The Green Commanders format. We've got the Luns format finished. A preview of the next one, an update on Squad Skirmish, updated rankings. We got this might surprise you. We have a whole show to do here.
Yes, I know that there was a lot of stuff that I even wanted to include that we're probably not going to get to just because first time getting back into it in a while. But I've got a lot of ideas. For instance, now we're even overshowing a game, whereas we usually always have not a blank screen, but a screen of stuff that we have yet to talk about. So we got some games to look at here. We got an old game from Connor up against Rip and a classic Lee mirror match with two, I would say, Lee savants.
Lee Foos, if you will.
Oh, yeah, you do call them Lee Foos here. So a lot of stuff. As you know, we cover events for our circuit, the WWBC or War World Battle Circuit. Pretty sure that's what it means. Cover events, tournaments, other leagues that we may or may not be running. And then planning in the future to maybe cover some other leagues and just competitive Stardom in general. Just kind of pick up and shout players out from all facets that like to play this game that we all love. So I guess we can just go ahead and get into it. Well, might as well finish this game though here. How's this? Oh, you got a construction hauler. Do you win this game? Do you only post games you win?
This is I think the first match of Event 7.
Oh.
Yeah, I have on screen today will be my run from the most recent tournament. Those are the most recent videos that I have, so that's what we got. So this was my game against Rip.
This is round 1 specifically?
I think so. Okay. This is the first game I uploaded. I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. I know you're used to having a bye because you're usually in top 16 areas, so it's just. But I'm used to that rather. So I'm like, oh, is this round 1 for you, or is this actually round 2? Okay.
So yeah, no,
this is looking like a dub.
Yeah. Uh, I ever since Commander's Endurance started, I've been practicing making sure I play all the cards for maximum damage now. So now I feel a little
Yeah.
scummy when
No.
because I can't just be like 7 damage. Well, okay, I can play one card. Now I have to sit here, and thank gosh that the opponent doesn't have to watch it if they don't want to. But I have to sit here and calculate all my damage to get used to it.
Yeah,
for that
I
move.
agree. I agree with that. That's actually always been a point of contention in the Star Realms online community. Of is there a line where it is scummy? Like, do you have to do all that? And like I said, there's just pros and cons and sides to both. But definitely one of the um, I guess you can call it merits to doing that type of thing is if you are playing in certain leagues that do that, courtesy of Darklighter. Darklighter is the commissioner of the Endurance Challenge as well as the newer Commander's Endurance Challenge, where he requires you to play every single card in your hand before and doing all damage, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and doing all damage. So you can't withhold any damage to try to do things. So you're forced to do that. So I can see doing the last turn where you have to win, where you have to do combos and just play your hand out to the full extent. That kind of thing would make sense.
Yep.
But that has come up in arguments on online threads and stuff. Why do people do? I see it all the time on Facebook. Oh, why do people do this? So.
Yeah, yeah. It feels bad, but anything for the sake of practice. That's my take.
Gotcha.
So, I think we covered most of this event last time. I think we were just waiting on the finals. Does that sound right to you?
I do feel like we covered it as well. I don't remember if it was the finals.
Finals are like the top X, but
in either case, yeah, we can just do a quick run through of it. Wait, events. Oh yeah, 6. Yes. So we covered the green guys in part last time we were here. Green Commander Summit. You can only pick one of the 3 available Green Commanders: Walsh, Newberg, and McCready. Format being Frontiers, Year 1 promos, Bases and Battleships, Year 2 promos, United Command, Stellar Allies. Really thinking about banning that set. Frontier events.
yes.
Frontier promos, the tech cards, and as always, the Commander's Command Decks expansion. So we'll run over our top 8 here. As an aside, I think we talked about it in the beginning of the event. I think 60% of the players were Newbergs. So that was pretty interesting to see how the top 8 was going to turn out, to see if any non-Newbergs would squeak in, which I think one did. I think down at the very end.
Oh,
yes.
Hypaspis?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Wild Hypaspis snuck in there on a 5-2 set run. And then also with him at 7th place, losing the top 8, was Wachowanek. We've got Sheridan in top 6, Corey Barrett top 6, Juan Carlos at 4th. I think we talked about this before. He has not won a WWC up to this point yet, but he's made it to the finals. But this season in particular, maybe it's with the help of the bye that he has pretty much every tournament, but he finds himself always in that top 4. He's always there. He's literally always there, and that's 125 points every single time. So. So congrats to him. Then top 3, we did shout him out in our previous pod. One player who's not been up to this area in a while, Lux 16 on the Newberg, which is, he would rather play Vulcan, I'm sure, but was not available here. Did he play in winners finals against Bork? Or was it Raka?
I think it was Lux.
Yes, so Lux played Bork in winners finals, lost, was waiting in losers finals, where Raka made a run, meeting him, Raka getting the win over Lux, I think in 5 games. I don't know for sure. And then proceeded to play against Bork and Beans, At this point, this was Borking Bean's third grand finals of the season, and proceeded to 3-0 Raka to win his third WWBC title. And that was also with his third different commander at that point, because he had won Red Guys with Lee, and then he won all Yokum with, of course, Yokum. So, Borking Bean showing that he's definitely one of the best commander players probably that we have in the game right now. I think a lot of people would say that. Any musings about this format as we kind of send it off? Kind of. I do plan to use the format again, but do you remember how that format was? Is it pretty good? I guess we'll go into Win Race 2, but...
Yeah, it was pretty aggressive on purpose because this was the Green Guys format, so this was something that they all kind of felt good and comfortable with. But I think Command... Command and Bases has good Walsh cards. I think if we look at the stats, which we will here in a moment, the McCready Newberg was probably... Well, instead of talking about it, I'll just do it, right? So here's the McCready Newberg. It's probably lower than it usually is.
Yes, I would say so.
And I think it's just because you have, when trying to balance these three, you put in Command and Bases, and that kind of gives Newberg the edge in that particular matchup in order to give Walsh a better shot. But at the end of the day, as usual, we see the Newberg dominance. If we flip back to the overall here, Newberg in Event 2 versus, we look at this stat here, this is versus other commanders, is sitting at a nice even 66% win rate, winning 2/3 of his matches against other people.
Yeah, which let's be honest, it's more or less what we expected overall. That doesn't mean that he would take the tournament, because you never know. I mean, all you gotta do is get to top 3 or grand finals, just survive, and maybe you'll be that Walsh or that McCready that might be able to get there. But that was not the case. Just another example of Newberg really enjoying the lack of Yokum. Although, like I said, this is also just a more closed format with just the Green Guys. But still, just ridiculous to see him win the Green Commander Summit and the Blue Commander Summit. So no matter how you single things down, he's coming out on top. I like the format as well. I plan on using it again, potentially even for other color summits. And then I'm actually very curious to see this format, similar to the Red Guys format that we had, use it more openly to see how some of the other commanders fare in this format, because it was really fun. So,
yeah, McCready didn't have the best time, but as we're going to see with the next event, it's a little bit of a theme. So, with that, how about we move on to the next event here, which was affectionately coined the Lunds format. This is one of Dion's spicy formats that he's come up with.
Yes. I've been trying. You're never gonna find a perfect format for everybody. You can just try your best to try to twinkle it and balance the teeter-totter as much as you can. But I've been working on this a lot. Had a similar format for the top 16 league championship in season 1. I edited it a little bit, made some tweaks. I'm still making tweaks now. But this is what I came up with. I love Cosmic Gambits. They really add a lot of flavor and strategy into the commanders. There are some instances where some things can get a little crazy and overblown. But I thought overall things worked out pretty well for most of the commanders and allowed even some of the lesser played commanders to even be considered. So that was where I was at with this. I enjoyed it a lot. What sets are in this one?
Well, so this was base set, Frontiers, Year 1 promos, bases, events, fleets. Cosmic Gambits, which is the first time I think we've really mixed commanders and gambits. Year 2 promos, United Heroes, aka superheroes, as I like to call them. Assault, Frontier events, Frontier promos, tech, and a commander set.
Yes. Cosmic Gambits. We did it once in season 1 before we did the commander locks. It was a big deck format that had everything, including both Gambit sets.
That was the grinder, right?
No, that was. I did do that for the grinder. Yes, that wasn't everything, but I did do that for that one. That one got a little bit crazy. The original Gambit set just even mixed in being half of the 2 possible Gambits you could get, kind of between like political maneuver, just a straight up 2 econ, and smuggling run, being able to get like a free 4 cost without doing anything. Just felt a bit strong, and I know some people have some gripes about just adding gambits in general, other gambits to it, but I really thought overall, I think 99% of like the Cosmic Gambit set flows really well, and like anything else, you're gonna have some bad matchups and some unfortunate mix-ups, but you just kind of do what you can, because a lot of times there is something you can't do. So. But yeah, so this is the first real time with Commander Locks that we had this, where we were able to actually get some data out of it and see how the addition maybe worked out for some commanders. I don't remember the exact numbers going into this event, but it was fairly balanced. I do remember it. Of course, there were more Newburghs than everybody else, but there was actually a nice amount of all of the other commanders.
So I was going to say, right? So this is the 3rd event of the format where all of the commanders have been selectable,
exactly,
right? So there was the first event, which was a no Yokum event. The second one was then Oops All Yokum, right?
So the first event was the Commander Standard format. That was no Yokum.
Okay.
Event 2 was Blue Guys.
Right. So only blue commanders.
Event 3 was all Yokum.
Right.
Event 4 was Red Guys.
Mm-hmm.
Event 5 was
Honey Buns, which is the second one where all of them were selected.
Mm-hmm.
And at least I'm happy to say, yeah, we're seeing, when everybody's on the table now, we're seeing a lot of different picks. Yes. And we're seeing a lot of different, I mean, I think maybe, Newburgh's still powerful, but we're seeing a lot of different commanders making it to the top. So, as we can see here, we've got a good diversity going.
Absolutely. How did this one shake out?
So we have 4 or 5 different commanders in the top. We've got Mikuwak, in 7th and or tied for 8th here with Juan Carlos. Mikuwak is on McCready, Juan Carlos on Newburgh. Then we had Corey Bear playing Lee with Star Mark on McCready. And so already 3 commanders here in the top 8. Then in 4th place we had JP on Newburgh. 3rd place we had the ever-present Bork and Beans playing Vulcan. Then 2nd place we had somebody that I don't know who that is. Nobody's ever heard of them. I can't even pronounce that name, playing Lee. And in 1st place we had Sheridan on Newburgh. So that's 3 commanders in the top 4 and 3 in the bottom, for a total of 4 different commanders total. Yeah. Both 2 green, 2 red. No Walsh. So had a good diversity. Nandi and Walsh. Nandi and Walsh were the only 2 that didn't make it to the top 8 this time. But you go down. Literally in the next one, you have DG3 finally making his run. Halloran playing Nandi. So we really, in the top 16, we did see every commander, which was good to see.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, DG3 Rep and Walsh all throwing on Nandi, and the other ones were all in top 8. So,
yeah, yeah. For those who didn't see, that second place there is of course my co-host Connor here, the Lee Savant, going 6-2. Fun fact, cool fact, semi-sad fact. He ran the table to make it to grand finals. He was 6-0 in sets, 10-0 in total games, taking on at least one, maybe even two Newbergs. I don't quite remember. I know he played a Lee Mirror. One of the more impressive games. I know I watched him play one Carlos in a very sick Newberg set with his Lee. But then he also was able to get
on screen right now.
There we go. I don't know if this is the one. I think I watched you play most of it. The hidden base, which we called the real patience rewarded, right?
Yes.
But yeah, he even 2-0'd to McCready, which as we get into another side league later on, we'll talk about how hard that is to do. But I'm sure anybody who's ever played Lee in skirmish mode or just played it openly and ranked and played the Lee versus McCready matchup, it is not fun. So, so he went out to do that. He made it to grand finals. The first Lee and to do that in the open format, I would say, with all the commanders that are Yoakum involved. And then he hit Sheridan
in grand
finals, who quite frankly was a freight train. There's probably multiple reasons why he won that set, and he wasn't going to be stopped. My man lost his first game to Rip. Yeah, I think he had a bye because he's been a top player all season. Rip came up to him, beat him. And honestly, I think that's the real reason that you lost, to be honest. I think he had a lot of... It wasn't
pent up aggression towards
Lee. And I think he just made everybody pay after that point. Now that I think about it, because the man went 11-1. He lost the first set and won 11 straight sets, making one of my dreams come true. I've been talking about that for a while, to see somebody go that far in losers and run the table to make it all the way back. I'm sad I had to come at the expense of my partner here, but to see that happen and to see, like, in challenge that number of W's, I've never even seen that many before. But he went nuts. Played a bunch of mirrors. I think he played 4 Newberg mirrors. Played a few Lees. I think 2 different Lees, but 3 sets total, including the grand finals against Lee. And barely made it out of the losers final. It almost was Bork. They went the full 5 games, and Sheridan was able to come out on top. Comes to grand finals, and where the unfortunate part of that good story about Connor's run comes in is that he went from 6-0 in sets to 6-2 in sets, and not only 6-2 in sets, it was 0-6 in games. So meaning Sheridan 6-0'd him. He got the 3-0, got the bracket reset, 3-0'd again to become the champion, which is very fun because this isn't the first time he's done that. He did the exact same thing in the postseason grinder season 1 to Kastan in the finals. That was a Newberg mirror, and he 6-0'd him. So no stranger to that. I believe that was 11-1 in sets, like I said. 22-6 in games. Both are records for most sets played, most games played, most games won, obviously, because he ran the distance. So congratulations to Sheridan. Congratulations to Connor. Second place, beating your previous best finish of 3rd, I believe, right?
Yep.
You got 3rd.
One day I'll just win.
Congrats to everybody. Sheridan and Bork are kind of becoming public enemy number 1 right now. I love to see it. It's fun to see, but at the same time, when you have an 8 tournament season and you're finishing through 7 and 5 of the tournaments have been won by 2 people, it's like Sheesh.
Sheesh.
So that's what we have for event number 7. I don't remember how my run was pretty short. I remember wanting to get more points because going in I was like 17 or 18 or something like that, and then I ended up playing my brother, taking the game away from Connor's usual run into Dre money. I beat him, then I hit Darklighter, then I lost. I played Walsh, by the way. I was one of the Walshes. And then I hit Royal Lance, who got me in the lower bracket. Did you watch that game?
I don't think so.
Well, let me tell you how that went. So he got 2 McCready maneuver gambits.
I see. Say no more. Say no more.
The man had his natural 5 damage draw, and then one of his cosmic gambits was 2-pronged attack, which essentially reads 5 damage and draw a card. So at any point in time, he had access to a big burst of damage. I actually almost won. I was a turn away, but he ended up getting me, and that sealed my run with no points, putting me a little bit further back in the rankings. And here I am, living on a prayer in the final event.
But it's anyone's game, as we'll go ahead and cut to the current standings.
What about the win rates for that one?
Oh, yeah. Right. McCready was not having a good time. Let me go to the commander table. So you can all look up the stats for these. These are now live. So we had a couple leads with good performance. We see there's 6 and 12 against Newberg. Is that 12 is 50% my responsibility for my grand finals getting grand slammed on. Otherwise, a pretty even matchup. And a rare 7 and 2 against McCready. I've never seen the matchup so good. I think, it's a rough matchup, but in part I think people are learning it.
Yes.
A lot of people who know how to play Lee were playing Lee.
Yep.
They ran into them and they pulled it off. The gambits may have helped, and you love to see it. But poor McCready losing his one matchup that he shouldn't have to think too hard about.
Yeah. Just like you said, like I want to point out like how ridiculously hard it is to play Lee. I think that it's not close, and Lee is definitely the hardest commander to play. So to see that success, like it's not just like I don't think anybody could say that any of those Lee games were easy. Like the 7 games that were won by however many players got those wins, they would not tell you that. Yeah, like I knew I was going to win that game. Like you go in and you know it's rough, but you just use your tools and you try to get through it. Like sometimes the tools don't come. That's kind of a part of how bad the matchup can be, considering how, the resources that both commanders start with. But it's about how you use them, and obviously you gotta get lucky a little bit sometimes. And to see the 7 and 2 is insane. So definitely keeping track for more formats that Lee tends to maybe have a shot in that matchup. Let's see. Vulcan even against Newberg. Ran into Newberg a lot.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, it's pretty even for the most part. Again, we have grand finals to thank for this matchup, but this is nowhere near. And let me actually just pull up the Newberg win rate in this event. Sorry, I need to do event 2.7 specifically here. 56% win rate against other commanders. That's pretty good. I mean, probably has something to do with the fact that Gambit's equalized a little bit. I know people feel a certain way that, it might not be as good or as fun or what have you. Same thing kind of happens with events and missions or, all that stuff. It's one of those things that, makes commander choice less impactful.
Right.
But yeah, this is the most tame we've seen Newburgh. In terms of, raw win rate. One of Lee's best performances. Walsh is probably the one that's the worst this time around.
Yeah. Yeah, like keeping the even pace like it wants to against McCready, like doing its job there. A little bit on the struggle bus with the Newburgh train. I was a part of that one for at least one game. And then didn't really hit any of the other matches, but did lose the ones that it did find. Wait, what you got to say?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Nothing.
I think she said Walsh sucks.
Oh, Walsh sucks. Wow. DJ has the hot takes.
So this was definitely fun to see Newburgh coming on top once again, putting it at 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4th tournament of 7 this in season 2 that Newburgh has won. And once again, keep in mind, like 2 of those were green commanders only and blue commanders only, but even still,
yeah.
Really,
and one of them was Yoakum only, and one of the ones that they couldn't win was Yoakum only.
Right.
So it's.
And Newburgh apparently doesn't like to play honey buns, so.
Yes.
So that's how that one turned out. Another really fun tournament. I think another great format, and one that I'm still tweaking, and we'll definitely see similar iterations of going forward. What do we have next?
Now we have the rankings. Yeah. So Bork and Beans, what was Alderin's points?
1,070.
So we didn't think it could happen, but here we are. Bork and Beans has surpassed the record for most points.
Yeah, I do want to point out that there's still
there's additional points from carrying over.
Yes. So like to this point, I only say this for the possibility that Bork somehow O2s. But like yeah, so like he did because he was one of the Bravehearts like you who didn't pick Yoakum for top 16.
Yeah.
And then he swiftly got bodied and got eliminated. So he got the bottom 40 points. So like if he O2 somehow, like technically, like he'll have 10 less points earned from the season than Alderin. Not to take anything away from him. 1,100 points is ridiculous.
Yep.
32-9 record coming off a top 3 performance. And that's a shoot. We didn't even talk about that. A top 3 performance coming off the back of 3 victories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And also, before we get really into it, to preface, these are the full standings of the players going into the Event 8 and the final event of Season 2 of the regular season. Before we do our league championship, which will consist of the top 16, which is what this is all about. We'll have our postseason grinder for all other players that do not make the top 16 that will also be able to play for ranking rights for the next season. And then we also have, of course, our fantasy bracket invitational that gets sends invites to the person who gets the best fantasy prediction bracket of each individual event, which we didn't mention. I don't remember who won Event 6 one. Might have been Bathurst, I think. But Event 7 actually was won by you. Right? Or am I getting that backwards? Or did you win 6? I thought you won 7.
How did I win 7 and Uh,
I hope I'm right.
no,
Bathurst
won
won 7.
6.
You won 6. Okay, see, at least I had it right on the winners. Okay, so Bathurst has punched his ticket into the Fantasy Bracket Invitational, and then you won 6. I think I wanted that to be the other way around, just to have a chance to win both. Like, because I think Penguin Army did that in the first event. He won the first event. He also won the Fantasy Bracket, which was kind of crazy. So that would have been cool. But either way, so more players punching their tickets into that, so that's gonna be fun. So yeah, so this is the tops, all the rankings, and we had a really good show when we did this in season 1 going into the last tournament. We were talking about storylines. We were looking at like, I think you highlighted up to what, like maybe like 23, 24 players last time who realistically had shots.
Yes.
But also we also pointed out that 250 is still 250.
Right.
As we saw from Yarboa last season.
Yes.
She shot herself straight in there. So yeah, Working Beans eclipsed 1,000 points. Juan Carlos, just a bunch of consistent performances all the way around. That's how you find yourself with 800 plus points. Penguin Army has been dominating. Only got a top 32 in the last event, but I mean, like, it doesn't matter. He's in league championship. Corey Bear, that's a top 6. So yeah, coming off another nice top 8 performance, getting to an even 800 points. Sheridan, 790 points. One just a few points away from getting number 4. But still, 250 points, 11-1, usurping him up to a 30-11 record.
Yes, DJ, that is impressive.
Alderin at number 6, 635. Ninjinan at 7. Sometimes I worry he's not going to register for some of these tournaments. He's always like one of the last ones to get in there, especially after last season going into the last event. He almost didn't make it, and then was worried he wasn't going to make league. Why are you doing this?
You got something to say? What Star Realms commentary do you have for us, DJ? Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Great insight coming from a literal baby.
Anyways, Ninjinan at 7 in his rightful spot, not in any danger, unlike last season where he could have been booted out.
Yes, he was at the very edge of the danger zone last time around. And now he is pretty squarely out of it. And he is basically the tail end of it. So at this point, you know, for basically, if you look at the scoreboard, Raka, Yarboa, myself, Mark Bot, and Cisco, this bracket, Raka is still pretty safe. You know, we're all pretty safe. We don't want to lose out. But this is where the potential danger zone begins, where the people below us, you know, if enough people get enough good finishes, they can overtake us. Now, it's not quite like last year, where there's basically last year. I mean, the bottom like 6 spots were up in the air.
Yeah.
Like we're pretty comfortable, top 11 to 12. The hot spots this year are absolutely the bottom 4, starting with Slavic. There's a bit of a point gap there at 365. So the reason that I would say Cisco still gets in it as the bottom one is because, as we say, 250 points is nothing to sneeze at. And everybody, you know, the next 4 people could slide their way up. The bottom 4 people could, you know, lose out round 1. And any one of these getting 250 points would jump on up and push them out. So Cisco is basically the first person who is a little bit worried. Slavic, Rollenpaw, Dusto, and Belush, who've had some pretty good performances this season, are looking to basically stay in it. There is a 5-point gap between 16th and 17th, which is, I believe, exactly where Darklighter was last time. This time is at 17th points with 5 points between him. So we'll see if. And last season he was able to get in there.
Yeah. So Darklighter. Yeah, he was surprised when I sent him the invite link for the top 16 league championship last season because he didn't think he was going to get in, and that's how close it was. Um, Raka Yarboa, like you said, definitely looking good in there. You were looking good in there, coming off of 175 points for that second place. So I'm happy for you to get in there, especially want to point out that Connor actually did not play in one of the tournaments. He missed all Yokum, so no chance to get points in that one, yet still finds himself in this one where you'll see almost, if not every other contestants in top 16 has played in just about every other tournament. So that's very impressive. You can usually tell by the number of losses it's a double elimination tournament unless you've won a tournament to offset your losses. We've had 7 events, so most players are going to have 14 losses, which will usually denote 7 tournaments played. So you'll see that most people have played in almost all the events, whereas Connor did miss one and still find his way to make it. So congrats. That was a goal that you set out. I think even on a previous pod, you even said that you were going to do it.
I don't need no stinking Yoka.
So, yes. Cisco killing it again. Markbot was a perennial top 8er in the first half of the season, and that's been able to hold him up and keep him here. Looking for another nice performance. Fun fact, before we finish out the potentials who are trying to get in, Dusto and Belush are not in Event 8.
Dusto and Belush are what?
They're not in Event 8.
They are not in Event 8. They did not sign up.
They did not sign up.
Oh. Well, that's kind of complicated for them, isn't it? Well, then.
Yeah, I did all my usual, my Discord, my Facebook, my individual tags. Actually,
guys.
Honestly, I'm going to feel a little bit bad if I didn't do a certain thing that I usually do.
Oh, no.
Let me just affirm.
You had it.
Let me just affirm that real quick.
No, say it ain't so. No, Dusto, Belush.
He saw it.
Golden ticket. You had your golden ticket. You had the invitation to the Charlie's Chocolate Factory. All you had to do was beat out a couple other people in the last event. Oh, no.
So it could be interesting.
Darklighter wipes the sweat off his brow as he just has to win a single game to get in the top 16, potentially.
But oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
Like,
right?
Depending on what the movement is.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, 18th ECM.
Especially if you win one game in winners, right? Then you're already projected up. So let's say he gets into 32 winners and then loses,
god.
Then he's in 24.
Yeah.
That's 30 points.
Yeah. Yeah, that's immediately above both of them. Yeah. Oh no. So yeah, Darklighter needs a game. ECM, Seabus Ripper, and you, Dion, and JP. Well, you and JP have to work a little bit harder. Yeah. There is a bit of a point gap, but ECM and Seabus Ripper got doing rubbing their hands together like, oh.
Yeah, ECM is, he's very nonchalant. He's a good friend of ours, personal friend of ours. He's the player that we forced into playing this because we know he loves to play games and he'll just do whatever we tell him. Really, we told him to buy all the sets. He bought all the sets and he's been playing Commanders ever since. And he has turned out to be a good player as we expected. And he didn't have any particular goals, but I know he just says that if I want to make top 16, all I got to do is top 16 every tournament, and that's what he's been doing. That's literally what he's been doing. Yeah. You see the plus 50s, like plus 50 is top 16. So, yeah. So Darklighter, ECM, Seamus Ripper, myself, JP. I didn't put the Nout in there just because Yeah, we are on the struggle bus. Not getting any points in the previous event really makes my soul cry. Um, we're looking at a spot where like realistically, I need to top 8 this thing, right?
Yeah. So you probably want at least, well, yeah. I mean, you probably want at least 100 points to get you over where Slavic and Rawlpaw currently are,
Right.
and that's top what?
Top 8 is 100 points.
Yes. So, yep. Pretty much.
Right.
Pretty much what you
like
said.
what does 60 do? Does 60 do anything? 60 doesn't do anything.
60
doesn't do anything.
does not do anything.
Yeah. So
It puts you at where Belush is.
so the worst spot that I could lose, the soul crushing spot that I could lose in the tournament is top 12.
Why would you sit here and try and figure that out? Now that you know, Leon, you've set it in stone. It's like Schrodinger's star realms. Once you observed it, now you know it's gonna.
All right. Well, if we're gonna go there, then all right, who in this group? You can go beyond this group too. You can go down to even Star Mark if you want. If you had to make a guess, who's going to be the Yarboa? Will there be a Yarboa?
Will there be a Yarboa?
Yeah. Once again, Yarboa was around the same spot we were.
Snaked her way.
She needed a minimum top 4 we were talking about. She not only top 4, she won the damn thing.
Yeah.
She won the tournament. So. Who do you think? You can go out and make a guess. Who's going to be the Yarboa?
I don't know.
All right, so just remember those names. We'll look at the bracket later, and then maybe based off the bracket. Okay, so that's what we're going with there. Those are the final rankings. So going into it, shout outs to once again Bahamut at 260, Zem 255, Kastan 245, Gianos 240, and Starmark coming off of good performances in the last tournament. So they're definitely not out of it, but you're talking about again a top 4 or better finish to really.
Yeah, let me basically set the minimum. Probably is Politis down here. That's where I'm gonna say. If you're Politis and above. All you gotta do is win.
Right. Right.
Or, close. You got a shot.
We all have a shot, guys. There's half of us that have a shot. So, that's the rankings. Everybody's in records. You can see all the impressive awesomeness that people are rocking with. That's awesome. Deja just rolled over, although it wasn't a true rollover. She just rolled over her little bed thing. I think she wants to do it again.
Sounds like she had a blast. Hopefully you will too in Event 8, the final event. So, this was a format basically of my choosing with No J. I picked something nice and slow that I think is another fairly balanced format for a lot of things. I'm not a big fan of V, but this is slow enough that I think a lot of people have a lot of options to do things without having to add in anything too crazy. So we wanted to take a moment to highlight the return of the rivalry of Hypaspis and Agent Seta once again playing each other in the first round. Which has that happened all season?
I
mean,
I don't think so.
Yes. So call back to season 1. They'll be playing each other in round 1.
Yep. It's just how the seedings keep working out. Just around that halfway down at the bottom area, if there's little to no movement or even slight movement one way or another, if other people above move the same way, there's a really good chance that you guys could just still find yourself playing each other, but at different seeds.
So, yeah, without maybe going through everybody, we'll just kind of take a quick look.
Anything popping up? Any possibilities? Let's see. Starmark.
Just in terms of commander choices, a lot of Newberg. Also a lot of Walsh, which I think is good, and part of the point. A lot of Lee. It really does feel like a lot of people are playing the commander maybe that they prefer the most, and that's not Yoakum, and that's what I want to see. Yeah, some people are picking Newberg to pick Newberg, but seeing some Lee in here. I think the only thing that is surprising to me is how few people are playing Vulcan. Penguin Army is on Vulcan, and Lux is on Vulcan, and somebody else, Gustav, was, and Yale as usual. But I do think this is a pretty good format for her. Yeah, and DJ agrees with me. And as a baby, they are incapable of lying, so you know that's the truth.
Shout out to Rookie Duffinator, who's coming and hopping into the circuit.
Hey.
They reached out on Facebook through some of the things that we've been posting on the Star Realms community page. And they're looking to check this out. I'm hoping that they enjoy it. I had a conversation with them the other day about how things work and stuff. And they usually play in the in-apps and stuff. So definitely, I hope you like it. I hope you stick around. Hopefully, we'll see you in Season 3 and other tournaments to come. So he's on the 90 pick, which I thought was interesting. He comes off of a world where he really likes to play Yoakum. So he really likes to play Yoakum. So one of the first things he saw was like, "Hey, I noticed there's no Yoakum allowed." And I was like, "Yes, that's correct."
Yep.
He's like, "What's up with that?" And then I showed him Season 1, and he was like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, JP going up against my brother. I'm trying to look out for possible clusters that involve the people who are like in that competitive. They're top 16.
They're obviously they're going to be spaced.
The
out.
party is going to be in losers though, because that's what it was last season. Do you remember that one line Hypaspis played like he had that crazy run where he didn't get in the top 16?
Deciding who was getting in.
Yeah,
the top 16.
That's what it was.
Yep.
So I'm really excited for this one to kind of get going, to see what happens. It looks like Hypaspis and Agent Seto are playing to see who's going to lose to Pork. I don't know. We'll see. I love them both, but we know about Lee Nandi, and I mean obviously Walsh can beat him, but
yeah, this is not that bad of a format for Lee Nandi. I really do believe this is there's not, the blowouts are due to the cards and not the commanders. The blowouts are when Walsh, when somebody grabs Brain World turn 2, and not that Walsh does it or that somebody that doesn't matter. It's just
right.
That's if there is a blowout game, it's usually that, and it doesn't usually matter which commander it is. Everybody's got the potential to get some of a good portion of the bombs are blue, which enables Vulcan to get there. A lot of them are bases too, which means that Walsh can get there easier. Vulcan can shuffle them in. Their defense for Lee. McCready can take them. McCready can kind of do whatever in a lot of ways. Same with Newberg. So we'll see how it all turns out.
True that, and I know we've been scrolling through the bracket here and there, and people have been seeing it. But who are you on for this tournament?
I'm on Lee.
You're on Lee. Okay. You got a nice buy and everything too, right?
Yes. I have
I myself have gone with the Nandi pick. I decided to make up for lost time. I was supposed to play Nandi in the last event, but then I just needed points. I wanted to get a top 32, and I didn't want to risk running into an annoying matchup in the last event, and it didn't work out anyway. I tried to pick a Walsh who I thought was 50-50. And essentially Nandi is too, but it's just he just gets rough when Nandi has the least starting damage, and just games can just be hard to maneuver. So I just got scared and audibled. So I'm not audibling this time. I've actually tested. Things feel good enough to where I can play it, and I as I was typing in the people's commanders after I'd locked in my pick as 90, I kind of saw a bit more Lees popping in. I was like, oh gosh, I hope when I submit this bracket after this, I get the seeds right, that my bracket looks good and Lees are like out of my way for a little bit, which did kind of work out. I've got McCready, I believe. But I got a McCready matchup opening up, and then a Newberg. So I kind of know the McCready matchup. It can be annoying, but the one that
you mean you got Darklighter? I can make that joke. Yeah, you gotta if you manage to beat D-Zilla, you'll be up against Darklighter.
Also that's actually another rivalry that's been brewing.
Invasion and Darklighter.
Wow, the disparity in the way that you said both of those names is very clear.
Well, I just hesitated.
You mean Invasion and Darklighter?
Look. I hesitated. Okay, look, guys, listeners. Okay, Invasion is a friend of ours, so I don't know him as Invasion. I know him as Brian. So I had to hesitate. I was like, Brain, say the username. So that's why I hesitated.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be happy to see Brian. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's assuming
I don't believe in him, but you know what? I'd be happy to see him take a win. It would be his first win in the WWBC.
I could easily lose to McCready here, but like the theme of season 2, since Joachim has been omitted, has clearly been Newberg runs the show. So like whenever I'm testing for any of the events, I'm always trying to find some of the better Newberg players, and I'm playing like games with them all the time just to get a good feel of the commanders I'm trying to play. I will say that I don't know how I feel about the 90 matchup. It's really annoying. It just depends on how the cards come into play and how things work. Because sometimes you do everything right and you look better. But as you saw from your grand final set, Newberg doesn't care about that sometimes. So, so that's where we're at for here. Looking forward to getting this started. This event, if you're listening to it today on 12/27, December 27th, is going to start today. Like shortly after we send off this pod, the tournament will start. So
it's live right now. I promise. Cross my heart.
You know what?
Thank you for saving my life.
Can't you do it too?
Probably.
Yeah. Can't you just do it?
Just go in and start
right there.
What, this one? The big one that says start the tournament?
That one.
That's the one?
Yep.
So I press that button?
Press that button.
All right. The event is live. Oh God! Something's gone through. My heart, Dion. I can't. Okay, it is live. It is. Okay, it is live.
I cannot transition from underway to underway. What?
But look. It's live.
All right.
I'm alive. And that's how you know that it's live. I didn't die. Even though I crossed my heart, I'm alive, and the event is live, and good luck to everybody.
Yeah, so the tournament is going. I will get Facebook and Discord matchups up shortly after, but most of you will have gotten emails and notifications from Challenge right now too. So with that, that's our WWBC tournament commander individual circuit wrap up.
You want to talk a little bit about the other thing that you've been working on?
Yeah.
While we have this going on in the background.
Yeah. We in the last pod, or maybe the one before, we talked about the squad skirmish beta that we did with a select few players, using inspiration from the commander skirmish mode in the app, but making it a team concept. So utilizing the 3 options that you get usually for yourself as an individual, but making it a three-man cell team where your team gets one of those three commanders. And that's your team versus another team who has the other three commanders that are on that other side. I was really intrigued by this idea. I think the idea hit me as soon as I played my first skirmish game. And I was like, this is a thing that can happen. So we did a beta. I think it was a 16 beta. We did a round robin. Just everybody played each other once. Of the teams, rather. And how it worked is the captains would either select the teams themselves, or before that, I, as the commissioner, would give the two different groupings of three commanders to the captains. Then they defer to their team as to who wants to play who. They submit their lineup or roster to me, and I would randomize, either using like an app, or honestly, sometimes I'm just at home and I'm just rolling a die. I'm not gonna lie. And weaving matchups together, and that makes up the game. So let's say me and Connor are captains, and we have two other players on their team. Let's say Connor has Starmark and Politis, and Dion has Deanna B and ECN. And I get submitted three commanders. I pick who my team's going to be. He picks who his team's going to be. Then we submit them to the commissioner and see how the matchups get set. So there's three separate matchups, and you play a best of three. So one of Connor's team plays one of my team, and all the way through down to the three players. It's just one best of three set, and then the overall match is decided by the team that wins the most sets, making it possible so it's not as simple as like a 2-1. Like it's possible for a team to sweep and all three players to win their individual sets 2-0 for a 3-0 game set. So that's the idea behind it. And the beta I thought went well enough to kind of go a little bit more live and make it a little bit bigger if we found enough players. And we were able to get a few more players to have an 8-man league that we are doing right now. We're actually in round 6 of it, and it's been going fairly fast. Like, I don't think it's even been 2 weeks.
No, yeah, but we've been running through all these games.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected time wise, but I wasn't expecting what we have. So it's been pretty crazy. And what happens is, it's a round robin, so every team plays each other once. It's a double round robin actually. So you play one format against each team, and then on the back half of the second round robin, you will play each team again in that same format, but you will have access to the other commanders that you didn't get the first time around. So everybody gets to get the same grouping of commanders, whether or not the first time they got one that they didn't like or deemed suboptimal, the other team's going to get that same set of commanders. So that's essentially how it works. Do we have standings up for it? We do have a challenge page for a skirmish squad. You've got the team names here, for which almost everybody is hit. I've been waiting on Dwell to get me a team name. But you've got Dion Stoppables. I don't think I have to tell you whose team that is.
That's my team. My team, and Dion isn't on it. That's
maybe that's a thing for next season. If I decide not to play, somebody can take over that team name. You got Giant Squids, Team Dark Jahamut, Siskel and Zimbert, Team Dwyle, Rips Bork and Lobster, Sofa King Good, and Blobs the Builders. So this is the result of 5 rounds worth of work. 2 teams. There are two matchups that are finishing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there are 2 matchups that are finishing. Their last set that determines that actually, in both cases, determine the winner of the match. So we're currently at tops, the technicality. one of the tiebreakers. So you got the regular match win loss here, and then the tiebreakers will go usually head to head, and then you've got set wins, and then you've got points. So the set wins are each of the. Ugh.
TJ does not like the set win format, but luckily for us, we don't take baby consideration into our tournament strategy.
Set wins, and then points. So points are all the individual wins that you get, that all the players on your team has total, and then the set wins are each of the sets. So if I beat Connor in our best of 3 set 2-1, that's a set win. So that denotes how many times a player on that team has won a set. As you can see, Giant Squid has won 10 sets and have 22 points, which means they've won collectively. That team has won 22 games. So those are one of the tiebreakers. And that's essentially WWBC Skirmish Squad in a nutshell. It's something that I'm having a lot of fun with. And trying to figure out what's wrong with my baby. I think she's just tired though. Do you have any musings about? I mean, we talked about the beta, but have you run up on any musings right now with how? I guess this format's a little bit different with the double round robin. Something that you like, something that you don't like. Stories about what's happened with your team so far. Have you been getting a certain commander a lot?
Yeah. So one of the things that you did this time around is you assigned commanders in kind of, you call them blocks. So in the first half, you get randomly dealt commanders in a certain format, and in the back half, you get the other commanders in the same format. So our team has kind of like last time, the Vulcan curse has followed me around, and we've got Vulcan almost every round, and I have not been able to play my boy Lee, but one time. Yes, DJ, that makes me very sad too. But I know that on the back half, we'll be done with Vulcan, save one round. There'll be a lot of Lee, and a lot of green commanders in our future. So it kind of all balances out so that, unlike the beta, where I happen to get Vulcan. Not that I'm bad at Vulcan or anything, but you don't feel like, our team keeps getting stuck with this commander or that commander or what have you. You kind of get a taste of everybody.
Right.
Helps balance it out.
Yeah, no, I like how things are going. Got a few ideas. Definitely going to be asking people on the changes they might want to see after which. So far, main gripes that I've gotten have to do with the format, or not the format, but some of the commander squads. Some people think that in a given round, there's 8 teams, so there's 4 matchups. Some people don't like that all the matchups aren't the same across the board for all the teams. I don't know about that, but and then there was one particular gripe about one format that had Cosmic Gambits in it, for which, on top of that, I actually had another format with Cosmic Gambits in it too, which would have made, since it's a double round robin, it would have made four games of it. So I cut one of them to try to appease it a little bit, but I definitely had to have Cosmic Gambits in one set, but. So, still listening to the players, listening to people. I think one of the merits of this Skirmish Squad, and which was actually one of my plans, was to kind of weave into WWBC. Something I've already seen happen, and maybe you can attest to this too, is it gives players the opportunity to play other commanders into other matchups that they normally don't do in general. And it helps spark conversation about how to even play some of those commanders in certain spots, because there are a lot of people who kind of just straight up just complain or be butthurt about a matchup being the way that a certain thing is, But then when you're seeing results like, oh man, this Lee beat this McCready, what they do? So like, I've already seen a couple instances and examples of players like asking about how to beat a certain matchup, or if there's certain lines or things to be thinking about. Like, in no way, shape, or form. We played a lot of Commanders games, and between all this stuff, like we got a lot of bases covered and stuff. But like, there's still a lot of intricacies, I think, within the realm of Commanders and what they can do. So, like, it's not necessarily down to the matchup. I think the more times that you play the matchup, the more things you learn, and as we get maybe like newer players who want to, like, I think this is a great conduit to kind of go into, as not only being a team format, being able to talk to other people about it, but you get to get that exposure. So, and I think it does it to a different degree than the Commander's Endurance Challenge, but I think that's not the way that Darklighter runs that is also a pretty good way to expose or show Commanders to players who don't necessarily think that Commanders is their thing. So yeah, I keep on finding more and more good things about this league and what it potentially could be if we can get it around and show it to other people who might want to try it.
Yes, well, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few McCready's, as they say.
Yeah. You're the only person who ever said that.
They being me. I said it. Me. That's my thing. But
yeah, I believe you sent me
I believe when I
did you send me a GIF after the Star Mart game?
When I won my McCready matchup, yes, I sent Dion a GIF of someone making an omelet.
Yeah, but luckily, like, I've heard him say this quote many times, so I knew what was going on.
You have to learn the bad matchups. Well, I'm not going to say that they don't get any better, but I know that if you'll find me. I started playing in Board Game Geek League this year. I've been playing almost exclusively Lee. Outside of a select few scenarios, and people in gold, they don't mess around. And they know who I am. They know what I'm here to do, and they pick McCready. And that has not stopped me from just tingling at that promotion both times now. I'll get there eventually. You have to learn how to play those matchups. Otherwise, you can't really truly be an expert. You can't truly be an expert in Newburgh if all you do is beat McCready's, and you can't truly be a McCready expert if all you do is beat Lee's. It's what really makes the player is their ability to perform under difficult circumstances on their commander. In some cases, yes, as we see, people have a wide range of commanders that they play to fit the format, and that's also a very excellent skill. But even within them, you will see them eventually. They will run into the bad matchup, and they will have to win with it. So,
yep.
Get good, losers.
I suppose so. With that, I don't know if there's anything else that we have to cover aside from potentially everyone's favorite segment.
Oh, did you prep one? I didn't prep one. I'm not going to lie.
You gotta find a card.
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right, so we did miss out on the last pod's episode of Guess That Flavor Text, mostly because we had some time constraints come up, and I had to go get my baby. So we're going to bring it back here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually blanking on the rules.
We obviously are. We're taking the flavor text of a card, and we give hints in the up to 3 hints that you can take, right, to lose a point. If you guess it right away, you get it. But if you don't get it, you can take a hint at the cost of a point.
Yes, and was it we do 3 points max?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And
then,
I don't know what the score is, but I know that you're winning.
Right, yeah, it's like a slight lead. And then, so, what are the 2 hints before you get down to 1 point? Is it set and then cost?
I believe.
Or were we talking about changing it?
Isn't it color?
Is it color?
I
thought it was set and cost.
Yeah, set and cost.
All right, so let's do that. And we're still looking, like, if you guys still have other ideas. I know Mega Holland did a similar concept, and they did some different things that I thought was cool. But if you guys have any ideas on, like, things that we can do for tiebreakers or figuring out what to do to give points, like like what set or whatever, let us know in the comments or message us here on Discord or on Facebook. I've got my card already.
All right.
Fun fact: you can't pick any cards in requisition for this. I just tried to find a sneaky one that he wasn't going to get, and they all just have the same discount text.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go first. The card is no. Only the true believer may enter with hope of ever leaving.
Only a true believer.
No, it is not a League Commander card.
No, I don't think it's any Commander card.
I know.
It's
you love the Lee puns, and the way you said believer made me I even saw it in my head. Believe with the capital LE that you like to use.
Well, the first thing. First of all, we limited this to the cards in the app, I assume.
Yes.
Because it's a base, I think. Because I think you'd be hard pressed to find a ship that you would get lost in. I mean, they're big, but I mean, it's not usually something. And the believer makes me think that it's the machine cult because they're weirdly the zealous type. That's what I would think, but at the same time, it just doesn't strike me. Read that text back to me again. Only a true believer.
Yes. 1 second. Only the true believer may enter with hope of ever leaving.
Ooh. Oh no, it is not. I almost took a guess, but I remember a particular flavor text, and it's not that. All right. Well, I guess you're gonna have to give me the set.
Year 1 promos.
Year 1 promos. Oh. Oh, wait a minute. So there's Star Market. Is it called Fortress Oblivion?
It is called Fortress Oblivion.
Yeah,
even though I should have given you the whole treatment of is that your final answer?
Yes, but I knew I was thinking it was Fortress Oblivion from before I asked from what set it was from. But for some reason I thought Fortress Oblivion was Starbase Omega for some reason. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. And then I was like, wait a minute, no, it's that 3-cost machine cult base. Fortress Oblivion. Oh wait, that is Fortress Oblivion. You fool. 2 points. Oh.
3 points. Oh no, I gave you a hint. You're right.
Yes, I did.
Still,
I did take the hint.
Very dope. Very dope. And dope to you guys if you're listening and you got that one.
All right, Dion, here's yours. Smuggling without the smugglers. Smuggling without the smugglers.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that set.
That is Stellar Allies.
Oh, shoot.
Smuggling without the smugglers. I know. I've thrown you for a loop because it's not year 2 promos and it's not Imperial Smugglers now, is it?
Exactly. I did.
You were kind of hoping that
that's why I went straight to the. I was like, just give me this set so I can eliminate this right now.
No, it's Imperial Smugglers does not have a flavor text.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Do you know the answer?
I don't think she does.
Dang. Looks like I make it. Yeah. Looks like we're going for one today.
I have to say, I really should have. If I was playing optimally, I would have picked another set because Stellar Allies only has 1 card of each cost. So if you ask for the next hit, you better get it right. You better get it right after the next hit. Otherwise, you're going to be really embarrassed.
Am I really going to be embarrassed? Is it alignment bot?
It is alignment bot.
Oh!
Well, yeah, because look, alignment bot is 1, pack pot is 2, needle lance is 3, pack 4 is like every.
I didn't think about that.
If you got the next hit, I would have told you 1, and you would have.
I honestly, I don't know Stellar Allies enough to be like, oh, what's one of each? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there you go, 2 points apiece. The lead does not widen, but it does not close either.
Ah, gosh. If you guys got that one, I don't believe you.
I mean, I'm smart, but you guys are obviously idiots. So, if you got that right, I mean, don't lie. We can't even hear you.
All right, that was a good one. I'll get him in the next time. We'll get 3 points next time, guys. I promise. Keep the lead. I gotta be up by like one or two right now, so that's all good. Anything else, Connor?
Nope. I think that's it.
All right, I think we're relatively all caught up. We're looking pretty good. Event number 8 has officially started. So if you're playing in WWBC event Season 2, Event 8, get out there, check your email or check your challenge notifications, or in the next probably hour or so, check your Facebook or Discord because I'll be making posts. So with that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye forever.